And this time we're going to color a Palomino horse, and we're going to be using W1, W2, E35, E33, and E31. We're going to start with the body of the horse, or the main base color of the horse, which is the E31, and we're going to circle this color in, and we're going to keep our leading edge wet, so essentially we're circling back over areas where we've colored. This gives us an even distribution of color. We don't get any streaking. So we're going to circle this in. And we'll be doing the entire face and neck of the horse since they're all connected on this drawing. We'll lay all of our color in at one time here. Use the tip of your pen to circle in the tiny areas. Up in the ear. Catch that other ear too. Be careful around the mane, because with the Palominos, the mane's light colored, so we want to try to keep our ink out of that mane. So use the very tip of your pen when you're circling around that area. And you're going to continue that circling until you have the whole base coat on the neck and face of your horse. And now we're going to go in with our E33, and we're going to start to flick shadows in. So you're going to start where you want your darkest area to be and flick away from you, because where you first put that pen down is where the largest concentration of that color is going to be. So you flick that shadow in with that E35 or E33, and then you come back again with your E31 and blend that down into the base color. Flicking with your E33 where you want your shadows, blending it back down with your E31, and don't be afraid to move your paper around if you need to, so that you're most comfortable when you're doing your flicking. I like to flick away from me. I'm going to flick underneath the edge of his face here where he's casting a shadow under his chin. blend that in to the base. Flick down from the ear to the edge of that mane. You're just repeating this process anywhere you want shadows to be cast onto that base color. Under the edge of the eye, underneath the forelock here. Where there's definition in the jaw, you'll want to cast shadows down the edge of the nose, around the nostril, and into the nostril you want some dark in there. Edge of the mouth. And then we're going to come in with our third shade of brown here, which is our A35. And we're going to take that and we're going to flick that into the area where we want just the very darkest shadow. And blend it down again with our A31. So just where you want your darkest shadows to be, up underneath where that mane really casts the shadow on the neck. And underneath the jaw, you're going to have a strong shadow in here. Underneath this top edge of the mane. Up here under the edge of the forelock where it casts down over the eye. Where there's definition in the face, to set that cheek out from the back. You really want to have some shadow, some of your dark definition in there. Under the edge of the mouth, where you're getting a lot of shadow from the lip, down in the nostril. Under the very edge of that forelock on the forehead, because you realize the light's going to hit and light up most of that surface on the face there. And you're going to add shadow around that ear. And there we have the base on the body and the face of the horse, and just a little shadow here under the eye as well. And now we're going to move on to the mane and forelock. And for that we are going to use the W1 and the W2, and we're going to come in with just a little bit of the E31. So the W's are the warm grays. We're going to start with the lightest, which is the W1. And we're going to flick that in to the mane, starting at the point where we would have the darkest shadow. flick it in long strokes with the growth of the hair. So you're going to start where the hair would come away from the neck, and you're going to flick that in, following the growth of the hair. Again, concentrating the color where the root of the hair would be. And next we're going to come in with the W2. Again, the same thing. We're flicking this in from the root, and we're not going out quite as far, so not quite as long a strokes as that W1. Again, following the growth of the hair. And you'll see I'm concentrating most of the color at the root of the hair as it's growing down, because with the horses, their hair tends to get bleached out. Their manes and tails tend to get bleached out by the sun, so as the tips grow out, they're a little bit lighter. And then we're going to come in with our E3-1, and we're going to add just a little bit of that, just really tiny light flicking in the very darkest area of the roots. And anywhere you have some overlapping of the main growth, where you want to cast a shadow. And what this color is doing is it's just picking up a little bit of that base color on the horse and reflecting it up in the mane. And then we're going to come back in with our lightest mane color, the W1 again, and we're just going to blend that all into that root of the hair. Again, long strokes with this color. Now you can come back in and repeat this process if you want to add some color down here at the root or the tips of the hair, so that you have your brightest reflection of the light here in the center where you would have a sheen to the hair. You can come in and you just do the same order. You come in with your W1 on the very tips, flicking it with the growth of the hair. In this case, I'm flicking back toward me. You can turn your paper. Come in with your W2. Short flicks where you want some shadow. And again, coming in with the E3-1, where you're just going to pick up a little bit of that tan palomino color from the body. Blend that from the tip up toward the root, and then back in with your W1 for your last blend over those colors that you've added. And this gives you the illusion of the light hitting through the center of the mane there, so that you have some highlights on your hair. And that's how we color the Palomino horse.